Good Friday to
Good
you,
Friday.
sir.
Good Friday. I feel like I saw you just recently.
I think we did. I think we saw each other quite recently.
Yeah, most of this week actually.
Yeah. We were hanging out in Atlanta. Fortunately, we didn't have to travel anywhere to see each
No,
other this time around.
no. There was a conference. NAA's Assembly of Delegates was in Atlanta, second year in a row, and some people didn't make it.
Yeah, the government shutdown still affecting folks. Definitely a big challenge for coordination.
Hmm.
Admittedly, they were supposed to be running at about a 10% deficit, but they, in actuality, were doing about 6% because a lot of folks decided to support the necessary travel that is
Yeah,
required for everyone.
yeah. So some folks bowed out. There was talk of people were wondering if they would have quorum. They did have quorum, so things were able to move forward. People were able to vote, but there was definitely the Southeast contingent was very strong, but there definitely was other folks across the nation that weren't able to be there.
Yeah, I mean, if you were able to drive in, obviously it was a little bit easier for you. This is some proof, by the way, that we actually made it together.
Oh, we have proof of it.
We've got proof. The day I dressed up.
Oh yes. Gosh, I look so tired there.
This was
That was
definitely at
final
the
day,
end.
right? The
This is
final
final
day.
day. We got some
Yeah.
nice, and the weather started to show up in the 60s on the final day. We had
Yeah,
freezing weather.
we
For
shouldn't tell people what the weather is today in Atlanta because
no,
it's. I went for a walk with my dog and I had to take off my layers because it's warm. It's like seven. It's been in the
yeah,
70s today.
it's amazing. It's amazing how weather patterns change.
Yeah. So we did. There was three big things that there was a lot of information. There was three big things that happened. First one, they announced the addition of an affiliate chapter. The New York Apartment Association was kind of revealed and announced.
Yeah, yeah. New York's going to add over 433,000 units represented for NAA. That's about 64 supplier members as well, and they're going to be sitting in Region 2.
Hmm. Yeah, that's exciting. There's some other new stuff. So we're celebrating the voting in of the inauguration of the new chair of the Apartment Association. Atlanta's Chris Burns of Willowbridge. So I know Willowbridge had a big celebration. The National Apartment Association obviously had a celebration. So that was a big deal for recognizing the new chair. And there was some new tech.
Yeah, Apartment Haven.
Yeah, Apartment Haven. If you go to NAA's website, you'll see that there's been updates. This is the new online platform. There's a lot of information on it that you'll kind of get when you log in. Basically, way for people to communicate online, share information. Another benefit of it is for various committee work at NAA to be able to be carried on after delegates leave or after committee members leave. So it's a kind of exciting new hub and resource to kind of take this organization into the next few days.
Yes, and of course you need to be a member.
You
So
do, you do. You
you're
need
going
to
to
be
be
a
met with a
member.
login
Mhm.
screen right away. You can check that out at
Mhm.
apthaven.naahq.org.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
well,
so there was a lot of stuff in Atlanta. I mean, we could talk more about that different conversations we had with folks from near and far, but there was a lot of news this week too.
yeah, whole lot of news this week. One of the big pieces of news is that Sonder, who is sort of in the hospitality realm, but still does some work inside of multifamily. Sonder had a 20-year deal with Marriott that came crashing and burning after 20 months.
Hmm.
And then within about a day later, after their partnership being dissolved, there was an official announcement there from Marriott. And then a press release was given by the Sonder crew. I mean, less than 24 hours. Sonder admitted that they were ceasing operations and looking forward to proceedings of Chapter 7.
Yeah. Well, I definitely breaking news. What were people saying about this? Like, was there like different kinds of voices that kind of popped up?
So and I think a lot of folks, the warning bells were chiming well before this. They were missing. Um, yeah, great question, Paul. Does the New York Apartment Association include NMHC units, or is it statewide instead? That's a great question. We'll find out that answer for you. In terms of Sonder, though, they were just missing financial statements. They were not, they were just consistently missing the mark. And a good friend of mine, Ashken, basically said they're an operator with a technology layer, not a technology company with operational leverage. And this company was once priced, I believe, I believe it was almost $1 billion valuation at one
Hmm.
point. I'm trying to get my camera to work here. And essentially, Ash is just saying that like there was a fatal calculation in the investment side here, and their investment was overinflated, expectations were overdone, and they since failed. Now, there's other competitors out there that have similar operating platforms, but they maybe own some of the properties that they're working on. Their platform layer works into,
Hmm.
which gives them a little bit more of a strategic advantage. But
Yeah.
not unfortunately, they were not lightweight enough to survive, and they did cease operations. So I feel sorry for the folks that did work there, who are sort of had the rug pulled out from underneath them. Although I'm assuming they saw a lot of the busting through the gates, those stopgap gates. So hopefully it wasn't a major surprise.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a great call out, right? This, as we see more and more, companies in the space kind of, leaning into one side or the other, operator slash tech or tech slash operator, that understanding it as an investor, understanding it as a lender is a huge piece in that because there is strengths on both sides and there's weaknesses on both sides and sort of how you value that is super important.
Yeah, makes sense.
So there's rent's been dropping.
Yeah,
Not just the rent. Acorns have been dropping too. Unrelated. There is it's a bumper crop year for acorns. It's a mast year. So if you live in near oak trees, you are probably getting a lot of acorns around you or on your car or wherever else. But um, outside in our industry, we're having drops as well in rent, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a cycle that may feel shortened, right? The busy season may have felt a little bit shortened for some of you out there in the leasing and operations side, but ultimately, we're seeing rents drop, faster
Hmm.
and across the board, across asset classes. Very much so. Of course, if you're in affordable housing, Section 8 housing, you probably weren't even getting your checks in the door.
Right. And there was Yardi Matrix kind of came out with their report this week. Several folks posted about this. There was a $8 average rent drop since the peak of summer rents overall, which a few folks had spoken about saying, "Hey, this is an indication that the demand is weak. Like we're in a weak demand." Meanwhile, that same report had some other data that Daniel Kaufman focused on, which was that there has been a small increase in the completion forecast of units, which kind of says, okay, that little bit of increase is showing that it's not really a decline, but it's sort of a survival or an endurance. The industry is surviving this. It's not just, a total decline. So that's an interesting report. Make sure to check that out.
Great. Okay. On to the rest of our
Let's
news.
do it. Let's do it. We got a lot of
We
things.
got a whole lot here. In case you missed it, RealPage has a new CEO.
Hmm. A bit of changing of the guard. Uh,
Yeah.
When did they announce that this week, correct?
That
Yes.
is correct. So the new RealPage CEO is Dirk Wakeman.
Mhm,
Definitely comes from a long list of accomplishments,
mhm.
and you can look at his LinkedIn profile to see what he's been up to. But I think a lot of this is just the fallout from the Department of Justice debacle and the quote unquote price fixing,
Mhm.
which is still going on. I mean, the aftermath of that is still going on. You can look and see all the lawsuits that continue to happen and the settlements that are happening, and certainly there's someone has to kind of fall on the sword for that. So
Yeah.
looks like the new CEO is going to come in and turn things around.
Yeah, and speaking of new, the Catalyst has been launched by the Foundation for Innovation in Real Estate. So this organization, a non for profit, is focused on a kind of innovation in the space, and the Catalyst is a particular group. I think we have a link to some information on it, but it's a group of early owners and managers emerging in the industry who are also some of like on the
Yeah.
cutting edge of tech adoption.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, one of our previous guests just from a couple of weeks ago, Stephanie Gubbiotti, helped launch this along with Matt Knight.
Hmm.
Of course, a lot of other great folks behind this. But if you want in on this, if you want to be on, the cutting edge, I spoke with an operator earlier this week who is on the cutting edge of launching things. So he would be a great fit for this. But this is what I think our industry needs is we need to be pushing forward with this to see who's willing to adopt new technologies, really supporting the up and coming prop techs,
Hmm.
business ventures, because we have a lot of work to do in multifamily. We are behind.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. Several different kinds of partnerships this week and kind of announcements. We'll call out a few of them. One is BILT and Bozzuto. They have announced their partnership working together, which is exciting. I'm sure they'll be talking more about this at OPTECH next week. A lot of announcements, predate OPTECH, so people can kind of get traction there about talking about
Yeah,
them.
this is true. I mean, really, Built is on a tear at this point. I think this partnership with Bozzuto, they're going to be. I mean, this partnership unlocks over 200,000 residents nationwide.
Mhm.
Albeit they're doing it in tranches, so I think they're initially launching this inside of certain metropolitans, from what I could read, and then they're going to be rolling it out across the entire portfolio shortly after that.
Yeah. And
But
it speaks to Bozzuto's kind of standard in the industry, which is if there is new technology, good new technology, or interesting new technology, Bozzuto is one of the early adopters of it. So they often will kind of roll out these new technologies. They may not, continue them forever because again, they're constantly evolving and moving forward. So it's kind of
yeah.
exciting to see,
Yeah, that's true. And case in point, Bozzuto working with Venn over about
right?
a 3 year period to
Hmm.
develop their, entire back end operational AI resident experience.
Yeah. Yeah, exciting. And more partnerships, apartment list. Also been in the news a lot lately. They are working with Airbnb, which is very cool.
Yep. Yep. So this is interesting. Essentially, the listings, Airbnb friendly, listings are
Units.
going to show up inside of
Right.
apartment list. Yep.
Yeah, I was reading about it. It's like allowing operators to kind of define what they want to allow their residents to do with Airbnb, and then prospective renter can then say, "Oh, this place allows me to do this. This place doesn't. This place," and they can choose. It's like making the Airbnb part of the amenity, but also being transparent, so they're aware of what's going on and what's not. So it's kind of crashing on that wall, which is like I think people just try to not make it happen or prohibit it a lot of times, but it would still happen. This is kind of allowing them to lean into it and kind of use it to rent, basically to rent units.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's another way for hosts to earn money. Another outlet here.
Mhm.
Ultimately, yeah.
And finally, other big news, some other leadership change. Melody King moving up or elevated or renamed as president of BH. And I know she's been there quite some time, but that's a very exciting step.
Yeah. So kudos.
Yes, congratulations. Good
Congratulations.
news. Always nice to hear good news. There was some bad news this week.
Yep.
Unfortunate news up in. Um, I almost went to grad school here. I almost got my MFA in directing at
Mm,
Massachusetts University of Massachusetts Amherst. There was a fire, right? Of a
yeah. It was a fire. I mean, fortunately, what I've read so far is that there were no deaths and then very limited injuries, but it has displaced over 230 residents.
Yeah, most
And
of them
that's,
students, and so
yeah,
most of
and
them
majority of them
students.
students, exactly,
Uh
right?
huh.
Because it's a very student heavy, population that lives there.
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge to try to get 230 people immediately placed into homes. Obviously, locals are showing up as best as possible. But if you'd like to donate and help support, the students and really the emergency response, we have this QR
Yeah.
code link here.
It's all being coordinated by the University of Massachusetts Amherst because it is primarily students. There's resources for students to kind of reach out, find temporary housing. It comes at a weird time, right? The semester isn't over, but people are getting ready for Thanksgiving break. But maybe there are international students that
Yep.
don't go home for that. So it's an interesting time during the cold and during the holidays. But yeah, if you scan that QR code, you can find out ways to get involved or support, especially if it's in your area and your community.
Yep. Challenging time for sure. So, well, looking to the future, Justin,
What's happening in the future?
the AI aliens are coming.
Oh no.
Yeah. They're coming.
Great.
They're gonna get us.
They are. They are. OPTECH next week. Paul asked with us today, is anyone having airline issues to get to OPTECH next week? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Do people know yet? I feel like for us going out of Atlanta, we're not going to know until we get there. Unless we have probably like I don't know if I'm going to get an
That
email
that's a
saying
great, yeah.
you know
That's a great question. I mean, and who knows how it happens. I think now that the government shutdown is technically off, right? It still is going to take potentially another week or so to get back in the swing of things. So hopefully your flights and travel is not,
yeah.
not relegated here.
I feel the hardest in terms of airline travel are sort of the short distances or the short flights. Those are the ones that are kind of impacted and kind of canceled quicker. If you're going from big hub to big hub, that's that's a little more.
Yeah.
You have a little more luck with that. But if you're in I don't know Cincinnati trying to fly to Chicago to catch a flight to Vegas or whatever, that your Cincinnati to Chicago flight's more in jeopardy than your O'Hare to Vegas. So it's kind of where you're coming at in the country. It seems that way. I don't know that for a fact. It's just based on the people that have had issues traveling. It seems like that's a part of it.
Your anecdotal evidence here. Yeah.
Yes, but my very very cursory spot checky in my network kind of thing. Yes, that's me.
Look, I had two things canceled at Academy. I keep saying Academy, Assembly of Delegates. I was supposed to meet with what now feels like an
Mhm.
old friend, Kara Rice, but we have not met in person yet, unfortunately. And then, I was gonna do something for my buddy Tony Souza, but unfortunately it got canceled because flights just weren't making it out. And God bless it if
Mhm.
you found a flight to there. But I know plenty of folks who left early just because they were afraid that their flight might get canceled. So
Mhm.
take a
Gotcha.
guaranteed early flight versus maybe my flight leaves at midnight or not. So hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone at OPTECH. What is going to happen is you're going to see us and about 22 total influencers roaming the halls at OPTECH. We are very excited to both. We're going to be doing some coverage inside of Podcast Boost. We're going to be speaking with some very specific uh, individuals and companies that are really pushing the envelope. But if you have some news that you'd like to drop, please find us. We're going to be doing 5 to 7 minute interviews with organizations, and really looking for great stories that are recapping the year, but also looking forward to 2026. Right? I mean, we're here.
Yeah, and along with that too, it doesn't just have to be breaking news. It could be urgent questions of the industry. So the things that we want to solve or find out in 2026. So whether you're a supplier or operator, what's on your "we want to do this better" list? That's something that's very interesting. Even if you don't have a breaking story or update, just what
Sure,
you're looking
sure.
forward to is interesting as well. And there's a mix of people, right? I think Dom kind of shared a graph that got a lot of traction.
Yep, Don Brevig, thank you so
Mhm.
much once again doing this breakdown. You've been doing it almost every year. I will say that based on his breakdown, though, there hasn't been a ton of year over year change. But you can kind of see in this initial graph here that, I mean, you're looking at like almost 60% vendors at this point.
Right, which is the age old adage of like, oh, there's so many vendors, there's not enough, vendor to, operator, or who am I going to sell to? Is it worth it? All of that stuff that comes from this. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that, are kind of taken away by this. Oh, that's beautiful. A transparent background on that, I suppose. I
Not getting any better here.
no, but there's good data there, I bet. Right? Somewhere?
I'll try changing your
Oh,
background. There
ooh,
we
there
go.
you go. Look, and there's a movement thing happening behind that.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
I'm going fancy.
Yes, so that's nice to see. Just kind of what
So
segments are they in?
yeah, I mean, essentially, what you should expect to see is an uptick in PMS and platforms, uptick in maintenance, really AI, right? Operational AI. We're going to see an uptick in that.
Right.
I'm surprised that number is only 4%, but
But here's the other thing, which is you know, it's not always the same companies either. It's like, it's startups that come in, it's startups that go out, it's people that decide to skip a year and then come back. So the industry is so even if it stays pretty much consistently that spread, um, it is a valuable time because it's also not just about people think, like, oh, I'm gonna get sold to. Someone's gonna sell me AI. Maybe, sure, that's probably going to happen. People are going to do that, but it's also a chance for people to talk about how they can better partner. And I'm not talking about partnership in terms of like, hey, you use our product and we're partners. I'm talking about literally partner with the kind of stuff that like Apartment List is doing with Airbnb, which is like figuring out ways to kind of work together to integrate, to collaborate, so that your offering is more valuable to the industry at large. So this is a really great time for that to happen, and it's really important for those conversations or those initial discussions to happen.
yeah, makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
I'm trying to remove this thing. There we go.
Yeah, I'm letting you have control of it because I don't know what you're doing.
Trying to futz with it a little bit here.
It's all good.
I should bring an old school background in here just because I can. Um,
Oh, what was this?
I don't know, some fancy thing. I think I'm ready to. I'm ready to cap it for the week. Next week, you'll expect to. We might be on location next week, right?
For Friday?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm making a show up early because we're gonna have to pre-record our Thanksgiving show, of course, as you
Oh,
know.
oh, right. Yes. Shh. Way to spoil it.
Oh,
Oh, we're
if
on
someone made
location.
it to the 24th minute, 25th minute of the show right now, I'd be super excited.
Dude, everyone makes it to it because they want to see what that weird video is at the end.
Everyone wants to
They
see.
slide through it.
Yeah, this is true. They just keep
I'm
rolling
exactly right
through.
about something, and I'll take it. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
I see Andrea complimented me last week. My question asking, I'm getting compliments from Paul today. It's like the validation I need on a Friday.
Well, I'm glad you did your hair this week, so this is nice. Thank you.
And there it went. And there it went. Thanks for keeping me humble, Eric.
Well, we humble each other. Some of
Yeah.
us just humble the other one more than they ask for.
Speaking of hair, what are you wearing to OPTECH?
Oh, I'm gonna wear a t-shirt and a suit.
Nice.
Yep,
Good.
comfy clothes on the
Comfy clothes.
inside, but stuffy stuff on the outside, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a blazer probably and some t-shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should coordinate. We'll coordinate something.
that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's figure something out.
All right. What's the moment of wonder, sir?
Here's your moment of wonder.
Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Absolutely, I do.
Good, excellent.
Oh, those influencers. Gotta love them.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Gotta
Thank
love
you, Shelly and Anne, for posting that today and giving me the inspiration to use it.
Well, sounds good. I will see you in Vegas, sir.
That's right. See you in Vegas.
Have a great
Safe
weekend,
travels, everyone.
everybody.